My name's Sasha Pete, and I'm joined by a fantastic individual, someone who's made a fantastic contribution to Australian football, three-time Adelaide City coach and Hall of Fame FFA inductee, none other than the great Zoran Matic. Welcome, Zoran.
Thank you very much for having me.
So, Zoran, tell us, how did you fall in love with our great game of football?
Well, I was born in a small village, and they always wanted to do better. And then I was only 15, applied for the first team to play against another village which is supposed to be the best around, and luckily we beat them, and everything started from them. Then everybody wanted me to continue.
Fantastic. So, you were born in the former Yugoslavia? I believe you were born in 1944, and your local club was Zvenka. Is that your local? Was that your local team?
I was born on 25th of December, in the last days of the year, and I always grab the time older when you start to play, because they said under 10, but I was already under 9, but I pushed myself in because everybody wants to get to the better position.
Mm.
When you are greedy, it doesn't matter if it's for money or if it's for achievements, you always try your best.
That's fantastic. And so did you played your football majority in defence? When you were playing as a junior, where did you gravitate on the park?
Well, when the first time they gave me a position to play, I was playing fullback, because if you're young, they always want to give you some outside. There's somebody behind you can cover you. That's what the people do, even today. Nothing wrong with that. Give them a slow chance to progress, and they will.
So that's right. So when did you make your first team debut? Did you say that you were 15 when you played first team football?
I was actually, our village was always ambitious, but we had a village next to us that was sort of the best in the whole area of the cities, and I applied first time over there, and we luckily beat them. Then everybody said, I brought the luck. I hope I didn't bring the luck, that I put some effort in there.
Yeah. Okay. So talk to me. So your local club was it Zvenka?
The local club was in Rashovica, and we call them Jedinstvo, because we all group together. That's why the word tells you be together. That's
Okay.
what it is.
All right. So did you then move to Sloboda Uzica? Okay.
Yeah,
so
I went to school, in the technical school in Leskovac, and we played, and then we drew them in the cup, and we beat them, and they thought, because I play in defense, because they didn't score, they're looking more who stopped them winning, not who probably the player that scored the goal. He didn't have as much respect as we defending against the stronger team. That's how it was.
And so you played alongside Rade Antic. I think he later went on to coach Serbia against Australia in the World Cup. Talk to me about that time. What was the quality like of the players playing in that side?
Well, there was a lot of quality, but there was a lot of politics too. Like in today, always is somebody pushing somebody. Don't push anybody. I've been a coach. I played the player that I'm thinking give contribution to the team. I'm not looking for political or some other level situation that you got to play somebody because his father is some big crap in around. You don't push those people. You always try to play the people that give you the most effort, and then you can see that they can make it better tomorrow. That's how it is.
You tried to come to Australia, I believe, with a cousin, but then you had to do military service and whatnot. So talk to me about what was your ambition? Why Australia? What was the idea?
Well, we always, because we were a socialist country, you're trying to get, because everybody tells you in capitalism is always better and there's progress. And the why I went to Germany, because somebody that played with me played in the team in Germany, and they had very weak defense. And he was telling the coach always, get this young boy, maybe he can bring something. That's how it happened. And I went to Ludwigshafen and applied. There was only second division, and then we were trying to get into first division, but we didn't get to the top spot. We came third. You couldn't get. But I had a long time before that, my cousin ran over the border and he wanted to go to Australia, and he finished in Australia. And whenever we talk, he said, you should come over here. This is good for everybody, good for business, good for sport. And that's how it happened that I decided, okay, apply in Ludwigshafen in Germany, and I had a contract. As soon as they wanted to extend contract, I said, look, I've got some problems home. I have to wait before, but I knew where I want to go. I wanted to go to Australia because unfortunately my cousin passed away now. He was telling me this is the best country in the world. And I said, I want to go to that country. I came first as a tourist into the country. And then even I played soccer. I was very lucky. I played for South Australian team and we beat English first division team and everything went up. Then I went there. Even Premier put his signature, recommend me to be accepted in Australia. That's how it was. It's a bit political. But sometimes politics make good decisions, sometimes bad. I don't know if they make good decisions or bad. That's up to other people to make it.
I think on that one they made a good decision. So, so you arrived in '73.
Yes.
And you arrived in Adelaide. And I think the first years you joined was at Belgrade. In the first years here, talk to me. Was that an easier transition?
Well,
Playing for a club?
because I didn't speak the language. Yep. I spoke reasonably German, but you forget that if you don't use for years and years. When I read, I understand in German everything, but when I talk, what it comes out of your mouth is not as good, because I played in Germany for a year, and I thought I was reasonable. But then when you have to learn English, which I never ever spoke in English at the time, I forgot my German in Australia, not before, but I forgot because all the time there's a lot of things. There's similar written in English and German. You have to be just careful how do you pronounce that. That's what it was.
And so you represented South Australia many times, over a dozen times, I think 14 times between 74 and 77. Your first cap came against Western Australia on the 6th of April in 1974. Tell me what was like representing the South Australian state. What did it feel like to you?
Well, I knew all the players, they were already in the team, and against some I played, with some I played together, and I did like that situation. And they had only some trouble there between the committee and the coach, like everywhere in the world. It's always that things don't go. And I didn't like when they called me for a meeting. And I didn't know, probably, what do they want to talk about? And then they said, look, we're not going to go anymore. That gentleman that was a coach, his name was Edmund Kraft. And they said, we don't want to go because he's demanding too many things. And he said, can you coach the team? Because I was a player in the team. He said, we decided to coach the team. I said, but what? Coach didn't want to. They didn't tell me that they sacked him. Said the coach didn't want it. There was some disagreement about the payments. And I said, are you sure? Yeah, but I don't want you to talk to anybody in the press or anywhere. Just keep quiet, coach the team for these 3 or 4 nights, and then we play the game. And I hardly ever wanted to say anything to anybody. I just kept that because I thought the game would not get any confidence if you see there was a disagreement between the coach and committee or coach and the players. I never had disagreement with coach or anything. And then they brought in Premier of South Australia in there too. And he said, well, we want you to take this, please, and just do your best job. Luckily, we beat the English team, and we went from there on. Suddenly, you're popular. Never defender should be popular because defender sometimes crash somebody just not to score. Just that's how it was. I'm not in politics, and I hate politics. And next day, there was even comment in the paper because our coach resigned. We got the captain of the team to coach the team and play. And luckily, we won the game. And then everything became quiet.
So for that South Australian side, you played some quality sides that toured. Middlesbrough, Legia Warsaw, Chelsea, Glasgow Rangers, Benfica. Do any of those teams or matches against those sides stand out for you?
Well, you have to, when you look English teams, you have to say they always put full effort. If you want to learn anything from them, you don't want to learn because in the skill sometimes they miss that because they probably from the young guys, all the coaches, what they do, they try to make athletic people and with a lot of effort, but it doesn't matter, can they trap the ball very well, can they dribble anybody, it's not important. You have to just put an effort, nothing wrong with that. All countries got some good and something bad. Even Brazil, you thought always got the best, but by the end, they start to fall down. The sport is like a business. It can go up and up and up, and when the things are going, everybody's happy and keep going. Very a little swindle somewhere there, and then they lose the tempo and they start losing the position. That's how it is. Only I'm never happy about that I coach the state league team against English first division team and we beat them, and then suddenly we are the best. He's the best. I'm not the best. I had few journalists. I used to ring this fellow. I said, I never told you I'm any good. What rubbish are you writing there? Because I don't like people being positioned by somebody else. Just let it go. Let the people watch the game.
In 1976, you made a transfer to Adelaide City Juventus, and you ended up playing 38 games there in the first 2 seasons. Part of obviously the National Soccer League. You even got 1 goal. I don't know if you remember scoring that goal from the fence.
I don't. Those things. It's all you do. Whatever you think at the moment is best. Sometimes you got all open space and you play the ball to the opposition because it just something goes wrong in business. Does every business always does the best? No. It does everything good, and then you made mistake and you lose the game.
Do you remember your playing time at Adelaide City, you know, those years 76, 77, 78?
Yeah, I played in Adelaide City, and I'll tell you a bit of politics why I stopped playing. Adelaide City arranged Raleigh Rashid to coach the team.
Mm.
He's of the same heritage like me. I decided, as soon as I had that, I already resigned. Why I'm going to go there and then people going to just have a look. If we lose the game and I made some little mistake and that what it cost us, everybody will say, why did he play the man of his nationality? And I resigned. Raleigh wasn't happy about it, but I told him, I said, I've got injury and I know I can't give you as much. This is the first time that I did something political in sport, which is wrong what I did. But if I was there, Raleigh was coach, every time we lose the game, I'll be blamed together with Raleigh. We're guilty of losing the game. And I decided, no, I was his assistant. I worked with the players that I played with. Raleigh, when we play in Sydney, his family was in Sydney. He usually used to stay Monday. If we play Saturday, stays even Sunday and Monday, comes back on Tuesday. I was coaching the team, but I tried my best until Raleigh comes back. Then I'm only assistant, and nothing wrong with that. Be assistant, that's your job. Do your job properly, and everybody's fine.
So you returned in 81. You returned to coach your original club that you came to back to Belgrade from 81 to 84. And in 1983, you won the treble. So you won the state league championship, you won the Federation Cup and the Charity Shield. Talk to me about your time there coaching from 81 to 84 at Belgrade. What was that like?
It was what it is there. Most of those players, juniors and everybody, I knew because I was already decided to finish playing in National Soccer League. And they said, can you come and do your best effort? You don't know if your best effort is good enough or not good enough. A lot of people think a lot better about themselves than what they achieve. And I said, why? We got disagreement with the coach. Said, well, we disagree with the coach. He wanted more money and whatever. We already told Federation, and that's what it made me now feel a bit guilty at the time. I was captain of the state team. And I felt a bit uncomfortable. How the hell I'm going to get the position as the coach? I'll just take it because you deserve that. And that's what it happened. Did I deserve or not? I don't know, still today. Whatever I achieved, probably somebody would have achieved double.
Oh, I mean, so that the you can never know, right? The rewriting of history, right? But to win a treble in any level at any side, you must have had. It's not just the coach. You need the combination of everything. You know, a decent committee, enough money, the right players, the right attitude. All these things need to come together.
The players that I have to say, one thing about Adelaide City, the players always they want to play for that club, but they want to give you maximum. You have to even accept, are you really giving them good jobs or are you teaching them good things? And that's what it is. And I have to say one thing. When anybody comes from England, is going to give you maximum. Majority of them, all English boys that I coach, they're always going to give you maximum. They don't look of any politics. Right? Then, as soon as you get a lot of Europeans in the team, they already started to do a twist. They want to play some politics just to get the better money, just to get a better position in the team. But I was never agreeing with that. And they knew, very, very soon, players knew. A lot of people said I was too tough. Not I'm tough. I'm just striking discipline. First discipline on me, and then discipline on the players. If the coach doesn't have his own discipline and put all effort in, how do you expect players to put all efforts? That doesn't work.
So you had so we'll talk about in 85, you were offered the position as coach at Adelaide City. So talk to me how you were lured across from Belgrade across to Adelaide City, because I think you went back home.
Yeah. I went back home. I'll tell you even political why I went back home. Adelaide City arranged Raleigh Rashi's to be coach.
Okay.
And I think that would not suit Raleigh. And you have to look at the club number one, and then the coach. It wouldn't suit him the talent there because they'll say he's a Serbian origin and he selects his Serbian origin to be his assistant, which is wrong. You should never apply politics in sport. In sport, you try your best effort, and then if that's not good enough, what else do you want? Nothing else can save it. And I went back to coach fighting, and luckily or not luckily, we won the league, and then we played the cup in South Australia, and there was Adelaide City and West Adelaide National League, and we played, and we beat them both by luck or no luck, I don't know. I can't tell you that. It was luck or not luck. And suddenly everybody wanted me to coach Adelaide City, because when I played in Adelaide City in National League, I played, I give my best. How did other people respect that or not? I don't know. I'm not going to that. And I went back there, and luckily we won the title in that year. And suddenly everybody is happy. Even Premier wants me for lunch. Adelaide clubs never won anything. And suddenly, that's not my effort. It's effort of everybody, not just the players, committee and the supporters. That brings everything together to one point.
So if I remember that year, 1986, where you won the league, it was split into two conferences: a Southern Division, Northern Division.
Yeah.
And you had this in the Southern Division. You had teams like Brunswick Juventus and Footscray Just JUST. Talk to me about the quality of the football at the time. What do you remember of that 86 season?
Well, I would say that a lot of clubs had some very good players, exceptionally good, because I played in Serenka, which is more or less not the city, between village and the city, and we went to first division. I resigned from the club and I went to play for Hajduk in the second division. I just did not, I was working at a technical school as a teacher, and suddenly I'm not going to be able to do all my, and the kid at the school said to me, can you tell me, can you continue? Because in that engineering, what they needed for that school, they didn't have many options, because in town didn't have that type of people. And said, can you do this? I said, okay. And said, can you last here for 3 years? I said, let you know tomorrow. Then I told them, yes, I'll stay 3 years. And when I'm there, when I played in Serenka, we went into first division. The coach already getting the coach was very unusual. He was of the similar nationality as I am, and that's going to be a go and sometimes accident between Kula and Serenka. Doesn't matter you drive, you can't drive on out of the road. You get nowhere. And there was an accident, and I realized that can happen even later. I said to the club, they want me to extend the contract. I said, look, there's got to be a problem. I'm not going to let go job at the school, because if I don't continue that, in 5 years' time, I'm going to forget everything where I went to uni and to the schools. That's all gone. And I said, no, I don't want. And the coach was Bata Ognjanovic, Ognjano was a big coach in previous time, and I respect that. He can go and give me the best opportunity because everybody's going to start to comply. Accident, because a road between Kula and Crvenka is only 7 kilometers, but it's only 2 lines. There was already before accident, nobody moved forward or backward. You just stay there because you're trapped in. And I said to the coach, if I continue, there's going to be a lot of disappointment by everybody because I'm not going to let the job that I've got that is teaching that school, because immediately the director of the school called me and said, look, we don't have a people of that education that can do those subjects. If you leave us now, and said, don't worry, I'll stay in apply for Kula. And that's what it happened. No politics. There was no bed for me to keep in the science field in the school and played soccer in the second division. I don't have to play in first division. That was my effort, and that's what it happened.
And
unfortunately, Crvenka got relegated. Then we play against them. Luckily, we beat them. Then you can hear people, they like supporters. Why you left us? You sold you. I said, no, I had a reason. What, you didn't like the coach of committee? I said, nothing of that. I had personal reasons. That's what it happened.
And plus, you also you're giving back to the children by teaching, so which is a fantastic effort that you did as well. And the Yugoslav second division is still quite a high quality league. So coming back to in 1986, your first title with Adelaide City, you had the likes of Willie McNally, Paul Shilavir, Bogdan Nikosius, Alex Tobin, Neville Flounders, Adrian Soundtrack, Sergio Melta, Paul Wild, Aurelio Vidmar, Steve Maxwell, and Joe Mullen, who I've also interviewed on this podcast. What was the team cohesion like between those boys?
There was never a problem, even when they tackle each other in training and unpredictably, and the head, there was always players who were very good. I said, you all going to do, just excuse yourself and you make that mistake. Everybody in this game will allow the contacts, can be rough, but you see sometimes that somebody on purpose or put the studs into somebody, that's you gotta jump in and call that fella on the side and just tell him, do that again, you won't be playing for this club. Then that's all immediately stops because the others hear from him what the coach said, he's an idiot, he really doesn't want me to play. Now, I want you to play hard, but even in the game, I don't want you to be sent off because you want to kill opposition. Kill him with your skill, not with your physics. That's what it was.
You had certain rules when you were coaching, like you had certain ideas of of what you should do at a particular time, and you're quite sort of disciplined in how you put those rules into the team. Joe was saying that in one of the years, Carl Witt came on, and I think you were playing against Footscray away, and he took a shot from way outside the box. Way outside the box, just before half time, and I think he either scored or it was very close. I think he scored, and at half time he came in the dressing room and you gave him a dressing down because at that particular moment he had the opportunity to cross the ball. So talk to me about these ideas that you had as a coach.
Nobody can tell you, do I have the right ideas or I teach them wrong? But there's certain things that we do in training all the time. How are we going to divide the opposition and score the goal or something? And I'm not there to progress any of the players. I'm there the club to progress, not the players. And nothing wrong with Calvert in his ability, but I got him as a 16 years old, and he worked very hard and everything. But then after, he becomes greedy, probably not because he's naturally greedy, but people outside, even your parents can make you greedy. Why don't you score? You pass the ball, somebody else to score. I heard those comments from people, and at half time said, "You're coming off, another player in." You have to teach them hard way. They learn more that way than if you're just nice. Oh, you're a good boy, you do this. No, you don't do the wrong things. That's how it is. Am I right or wrong? God knows. But I always try to make sure that with the players, there's always division to help each other, not to hate each other.
You had a very consistent side. So if I look at the years of your playing at Adelaide City, you had a core group of call them club stewards. So people who've been part of the team for a long, long time.
Long time, yeah.
And that helps. So one of those people who still now has many games in the First Division Australian football, played the vast majority of those, if not all, for Adelaide City is Alex Tobin. What can you tell me about Alex's personality, his demeanour?
Very quiet. You can kick him and still say sorry that he was in the way. Alex Tobin played for small team Birkala in Adelaide, and I needed to create. I always believe I played in defence. I was 16 when I played in the second division, the former Yugoslavia, and I realized this is a good positioning that you start somebody at that young age. And when I brought in them, a lot of people, they were not happy that I'm bringing this young boy. He was 16 years old, but he didn't play that year. He worked hard, and he always said, if you can give me some extra time by myself, I'm always ready. And you tell him to come in the morning when you don't have training by himself and another fella, they'll always come. And he'll try his best. It was everything right with Alex, but I believe that somebody made him in the last year when he became already a player and then getting into the national team and all that. He can go to another team. It's a lot better payment. We can't give you better payment than what we got money. If we don't have money, how can I promise you and then not pay you? We're going to create even more trouble because you promised and you don't do it. Now, I always used to say, you don't have signing off fee, but this is for winning game, this is for draws, and for loss is only that training money, and that's about it. And the players already knew that. That's why they try always to win the game, right to the last minute. If they score that goal, it's a lot more money coming, more than a double. The draw doesn't even get even less than a double of the money in payments. And then at least you teach them to be respectful and to try their hardest to do the last minute. That's what it was. Am I right or wrong? I don't know.
No, it's obviously right. You ended up winning 3 national titles with Adelaide City. It seems like the idea of having a consistent squad and putting in these rules, which ends up becoming a philosophy, a strategy, a philosophy. I think it's definitely right. You end up in the 91-92 season was also another triumph. From memory, you're always pretty dangerous in the final series. You know, you may not have ended up being league leader in any of the years that you were there, but if you were in the final series, you were there or thereabouts. And in 91-92, I think you came 4th, 6 points behind the Melbourne Knights side. They were a very good side there, and you were able to reach the grand final. And that year, you came to penalties, and I think you won on penalties 4-2 after the game being 0-0. The squad had changed a little bit by then. but you had some consistent players like Joe Mullen was still part of both sides. You had the legendary Robbie Zabika in goals. So,
well, he was prepared to work. I got him out of Perth, and thanks to
you talking about Robert Zabika or
yeah, Robert Zabika. I got him from there thanks to Gary Marocchi, because Gary played for Adelaide City when I played.
Okay.
And I said to him, I'm looking around South Australia and I can't see any of the goalkeepers. Even the one that does a lot is too short and he's not going to catch all those crosses. Even if you teach him when to run, he's not going to be able always to get to the ball. And Gary Marocchi used to play in Adelaide City when I played. And he said to me, if you can spend the time, be my guest for spend once 10 days in Perth, and you see this boy playing in the local team, and then you make decision. I think he suits you. And I went there, I watched, and Robert Zabika, he not just had hands, but he had the feet that he can move flexibly and to be for the ball. And I said to Gary, how are we going to now get him? I don't have much money. We never had much money. And he said, look, I will talk to the club if they want to let him go and how much do they want. And what did they want? There was not that much because it was never around National League at the time and there were still state leagues only. And we got Robert Zabika, but he wasn't shy of working. For me, always goalkeepers had to come an hour earlier and work, and then after what they're telling to go and have shower and go home, or to stay in goal for if they need to stay for the other players to have their exercise.
Shooting, yeah.
And I said to Gary, did I say Gary Marocchi? That's the name.
Yeah.
I said, Gary, don't have much money. We don't have money in the club. Said, look, I will talk to the committee and tell them that you're very interested and if they can put the price that you can afford.
Yeah.
And that's what it happened. I can't blame anybody. What they did for Zabika was good. They promoted their own boy.
Yeah.
And it was very good for us. And it was for even third side. Robert Zabika had a good opportunity to play in the National League. And that everybody can notice that he's doing okay.
Another person who, when I think Adelaide City, the one thing, I mean, you had boys that could score, but I think the one beautiful thing about your sides is your defense. Your defense was impenetrable. You had, in that year, you had Alex Tobin. We talked about Alex. You had Tony Vidmar. Another...
Shilabia. Yeah, Shilabia is very tough boy. Even there were always some very tough people. You give them a job and they'll do. Don't tell them to do what they're not capable technically to do. But if you're playing defense, I want that opposition fella to be stopped. I don't care even if, and you play the ball just to free our man, which is going to continue with the ball. But you don't have to do that much. But Paul Shilabia was very athletic, and you teach him when we open the space, he will make 60-meter sprint, get to the ball and cross. And what else do you want? You ask him to dribble 3 people, he's going to collide with somebody or kill that fellow or kill himself. When he needs to get there, he will get a lot quicker than some skillful players that need a long service leave to get there. That's how it is.
And and the other person that I want to speak to is Tony Vidmar. Obviously, you had the 2 Vidmar brothers there, but Tony played there for a long time with you. What was Tony like as a player?
he was very young when he came. He was 16 years old. And I wanted to train with the first team. Then I realized these younger boys, they need a lot more time. And then I could afford to come an hour earlier, at least 2 or 3 times a week with this, and just give them what they need to be given. If they're forward, you teach them those things the forward needs. If it's defender, you teach them that. And Tony Widmer was very keen, but when compliance, he brings Tony Widmer there because brother Aurelio plays in the first team. There's no politics with me. I decided this boy gonna make it. And mind you, the club got a lot more effort by Tony Widmer after than even of his very skillful brother Aurelio.
Yes.
But they both were good for the club. Aurelio Widmer, when he came to go, the club got good money for him.
Yeah.
And Tony Widmer gave a lot more effort in the. He had everything. He had the speed, especially on overlapping. He was good in defending. He was smart, intelligent, good in the air. What else do you want from defender?
Perfect. Yeah.
Do you want to give him a gun to kill opposition before you score the goal?
And you just, you talk about Alex Tobin or, Tony Widmer, and another name that I want to bring up, somebody who I think would be definitely in the top 10 imports that ever to play in this country. And I want to know how he came to Australia, because his name is Milan Ivanovic. How did you get Milan to play for Adelaide City?
Well, I needed somebody, the last man in defense. I had a lot of fighters. I needed the last man in defense. And at the time, he was playing in the first division club. I was more time spending on the bench than on the field. And the fella that was coaching that team, he used to play with me when I was a player. And his name was Luka Malesha. And I asked him, and he said, I can give you the play. I said, well, I'm coming with that at the time that you have said, the season is finished, but we'll be playing some European teams, and I will play him. And I said, I need him. I'm going to see him. Can he read the game? Not can he kick somebody? And he said, okay, I will play him as a sweeper. And they play a good first division team from Germany. There was a good opportunity for me to see how well can this fella read the game. I said, I need a sweeper. I don't need a gyro breaker. I just need a sweeper who can read the game. And he played Milan as a sweeper. And they play a top European club. And I watched the game. And I said, this boy can read the game. And that's what it happened. But the coach of that team was Luka Malesha, which I was a younger boy when he played, and I played in the same team. And he said to me, I will force you to get this, not force you, I will give you a force by me to let this fella go. He was suitable. I'm not complaining about that. He gave everything he had. He can't give any more than what you're capable.
I felt that he just people said that when you played, it seemed like you had time on the ball, like you had the extra second. With Milan, every time he had the ball, it seemed like he actually had 2 or 3 more seconds than anybody else on the pitch. He was so calm; it didn't matter what happened. He was so relaxed when he played. Did you feel that was one of his greatest strengths in football?
I always believe that the players should always, if they can take time, not to be greedy and overtake the time, but you have to always prepare yourself that you can play the best pass or except when you're in desperation, the opposition not score the goal, then you even kick the ball in corner, kick that in your net. And Milan had a reasonable, at the time, I think he was perfect sweeper for Australian soccer.
Yes.
And because I played sweeper, I played stopper in my time, and I decided this boy can play that. Over there, when I watched him back in the former Yugoslavia, he played as a stopper, not a sweeper. But I realized that he can read a lot of things.
Yeah.
And I decided I had a Tobin, which is a good stopper, and I just wanted a sweeper to pick up the things that the defense doesn't usually make sure that doesn't happen to that. And Milan was very ready to do that job, and that's why he got over here.
Fantastic summary. There's another player that I want to touch on because you have so many good players play at Adelaide City. Tell me the story how Damien Murray came to Adelaide, because I want to hear how he came across, because he was struggling a little bit in Melbourne. I mean, so you tell me the story how that came about.
Well, I've got always friends in the old cities. You got your own friends, and a fellow by the name Chedo Čirković in Melbourne, he coached the teams, and he said to me, this boy can make a very good defender, but he needs some teaching when to jump in, when because he's got the speed, but just not to get overcommitted and get beaten. And I watched the game, and I said, he can, whatever he needs to learn, he will learn. And as I said, I'll spend some individual time with him, and that's how it happened that we got him. But he gave a lot of effort, and he got the results. That's the most important, the results of the team than anybody else.
How did he transition from defence into being such a prolific goal scorer in his time at Adelaide City? What made you sort of realise that this boy can score you goals and not just be at the back?
I told him not to hold on the ball because he had no skill, but he had the speed, he had the strength that the other people can't cope with that. Why you want to dribble somebody? You can't dribble even the chair, I used to say. I'm very rough when I talk to, when you need something, you've got to be even rough that the people accept that. And he said, I said, no, you can't. You're not second line player, but I want you to come from there. But I'll teach you when to start moving already, before the ball ever's going to get there. So when the ball is faster than you, you're fast, but the ball is faster than you. And these people, we didn't say they will play you in that space, but you gotta make sure. Sometimes even make like you're gonna go towards them, then you break forward so the defense don't expect you to go. And we had the players for a good skill. Even from defense they come. Tony Widmer was always capable, Alex Tobin, Paul Schiller, they always capable to break in. They had the speed and they had the knowledge, and all you got to do, make that position available that they can play in the space and you're going to be first to the ball. That's what it happened. Damien Murray, I think he learned a lot more to Adelaide City than ever. I saw him play in Melbourne. Just had the speed, nothing else. But he used to spend time, he used to stay at least once a week. You come by yourself in the morning, and we spend just the time. If you can't beat me, you're not going to beat anybody else. Don't worry about it. And I just try to make them psychologically suffer. And they do the right thing.
Another club steward was Sergio Melta. He played for you for many, many years. What was his personality? Because he had a big engine in midfield. What was Sergio like?
Sergio's got a lot more heart than I had in another 10 players there. I've had a lot of good players. They put their heart. Sergio Melta, he'll rather die than lose the tackle.
Mm.
And I needed somebody that's got to stop the players before they come to my defense. And that was Sergio. And he did opportunity for him come, and when we opened the space for him to go, the ball will be played there, and he's going to be there quicker than anybody. And then you got to teach him where to cross and how to cross. And then when the first man goes, all attention's on him, don't play ball. We're going to play over him because people are going to come from second line. And the championships that Adelaide City won, it was the players were all cooperating. There were not jealousy. There was never ever, I'm not going to do that because somebody else gets exposed and not me. They all knew that was your job, to open the space, that somebody else is going to sneak in there and use the chance. Right? You're not going to use your first move. Everybody got to follow you. Are you that skillful? We play with the ball between you and the defender, and you're going to beat him and another fella before you score. And they knew the rules, because I was usually a bit rough with them. You don't do that again. After the game, when somebody did something stupid, I said, do that again, and you're never going to play. Then after, for 2 or 3 weeks, you sit on the bench. And that worked for them.
Yep.
Was that very rough, the way I said it? Would I really do that position to kick them out and you don't play again for 3 or 4 weeks? No, but at least they knew this fella is crazy. He might put me out of the team for 3 or 4 weeks. I better do what he said. And they were very disciplined. And they won championships because of anything else, but of their discipline and wanted to do.
The another you had Steve Maxwell and Joe Mullen play in your side up front for a long time. They formed a good friendship and partnership there. What was so you had a good balance, good forwards, decent midfield, and fantastic defense. So what was that partnership like, the Steve Maxwell, Joe Mullen partnership?
2 different people. Steve Maxwell want to be lazy, but he knew in training where we're going to play the ball. He's going to get it. If he went and start to sit on the back and on the back side of the cross, now your job. What are you on the back side? Who are you going to beat in the air? You're taller than me, but you can't beat me. And I'm 20 years older than you. Who are you going to beat? Nobody. And then he knew his job is to move there and move at the back. Somebody's going to open. Joe Mullen will get there to a near post and score. But if the fella decides to cross the ball, I want you to win the ball on the far post. No, on the first post, you're never going to get it. Because you've got no speed, and then I'm rough when I talk to her, and you got no brains. Players used to laugh between themselves. Did you hear? The Zoran told you got no brains. Why are you trying to do that? Just for a joke. But it's good, the joke. At least they know that the rule. You move where we know you're going to move. And if we're crossing the ball for you, you're going to do the job.
The one thing I remember watching your trainings later on when you came to coach in Melbourne, and you would have the same coaching. We would call these passing practice, where you would play the ball, you would zip it down the line, and you would cut it back to have your forwards run onto it, and that would be repetitive over and over and over again. You would drill your sides when you move the ball in your forward movement, and you would score many goals like that on the weekend. Why did you instigate those sort of passing practices to get the ball forward and cut it back? And 2, why did you not vary it? Why was it always fairly repetitive?
We had the players, they had a lot of speed, and they're on the outside. And then I had Stevie Maxwell. You have to hit him with the stick to move. He's still in a dreamland. Even if he was a top goal scorer, but he's still sometimes in a dreamland. He's not going to get it. I'll get people like Calvia join Mali, and these people will move to the near post and attract defense to follow them. And if we can play to them before the defense and they score, it's good. But if we can, the fella on the ball knows that he's going to play over and you're going to move in. And even when Alex Tobin play fullback, he's another one that's going to move on the back, because if we're going to the right hand side, he's going to be one to move from the left on the very high ball that nobody's going to catch. I'm not asking you to score. I want you to play back onto our player to touch it in. And that was the job. They knew their jobs, and they do that many times in training. Why can't you do in the game? You have to do in the game as well.
So you would practice these ball movements, and then they would replicate it in the game, and you would find that you would break down these teams in this way, that your players knew where they needed to be and they knew where they needed to pass. Is that the idea?
Well, that's in advance. They have to know what's available for them. There's the three options, and which one is the best option. The best option, that's where you're going to play first. If it's not, it got covered, then you got second, and then third option. But it's always three people that they're in a full speed through the box, and then they're going to be playing the ball. They don't know if the first man is going to be in right position to be played, or your second going to be there, or the third. You can't be just sitting outside and waiting. It's not going to come to me now. You're going to be given an opportunity to fella on the ball, and his job is to play the best possible man. It's not always going to happen, but when it can happen, you're going to be there.
Yeah, fantastic. So I'm sure another person that you spent a bit of time with was Charlie Caruso, a longtime president of Adelaide City. You formed a strong, obviously, relationship. Tell me about Charlie and what he meant to Adelaide City.
It was a good to be in there. Charlie was in all type of the with the people, but he was a very soft person. And what it was good, he could go and talk to people. They're going to support the club, and there was, and he'll spend all the time around the club just to try to make it better. He wasn't good businessman. I know that Charlie had some businesses, but he leaves his young son to struggle there, but he has to do the job for the club. He was probably overused in the club, but nothing wrong. He always tried the best for the club. He didn't go there begging people to help the club because they're going to give money to him in his pocket. He just went there. He wanted to have the club to have the money so they can look after their players the best way. That's what it was. And when Charlie was removed, I say removed because they didn't want him. They got another Charlie Zolo. But they got another Charlie Zolo. Of course, we had Charlie Zolo was a lot better in business, but not his business. He was better with the people with the business money, like Gordon Pickard, Fairmont Homes. And he became a top sponsor, and all those good results that we got, we have to say Gordon's got a lot to do with that, because he has put a lot of effort into the club. The man is a top businessman, which he spends his time to come and watch even training just to see that these players are putting all efforts in. And it's good for me. And I met him because we used to do some business together. And he goes, you got a lot of people that deserve whatever, but you've got to pay them even better. Now, Gordon, we can't pay them any more than what we got ability to pay them. But you want to give another $500,000 to the club? Okay, fine, go and give it. And he laughs. He did a lot more for the game than all other people together in Adelaide. And that was Gordon Pickard. He was always there, just ready to help, nothing else. He never ever commented who was a good player, who wasn't a good player, we didn't like this boy or doesn't like. He was just looking for the result. that means he was a good businessman. He doesn't look about all other crap. Just get the results, doesn't matter what it is.
Of the three championships that you won as a coach, does one feel more special than the other at Adelaide City? Was the first one maybe more special, or where from looking back now at your time of the three championships?
Maybe you like the first one because Adelaide never had that.
Yeah.
And but there was not as quality as the others in the quality of the players and the game they play. But the first was more an effort of your heart, not of your head.
Yeah.
You think less, but you do more because you got still energy. Let's do it.
Yeah.
I can't complain about the players that we have in their willing to do. They still work, and we had training in the morning, but only for the people that don't have work. And the ones that came after, they never, very often they even said, I don't think I did enough for this place, or we did in the morning. I said, just stay another half an hour. You three or four, you stay with me another half an hour after that the boys going into dressing room, and then you work. And they were always willing to work hard.
Okay.
They're not bludgers. Any sport, you can't have bludgers. If you get bludgers, put them in politics.
Yeah.
They can't do sport.
Good advice. So there was many other obviously Socceroos that played underneath you. So you also had a young John Aloisi that spent a little bit of time with you before he went overseas. And so what was you had a knack of picking talent, right? So if you saw him 15, 16 years old, okay, he's good enough. What was he like? What was John like as a young boy there?
He was a lot better than his older brother in the quality and in the character. He was 16 when I played in the first team.
Yeah.
But he used to always be happy. These players are coming early. Can I come? Welcome. And all he spent on extra work because the way his built body is taller and is clumsier, but he had to spend a lot of time and do why I'm doing those exercises. If I can do them at your age, if I do 20, I want you to do 20 as well. Come, you start with me. And he paid his effort. He was sold, the club made the money, and he was happy, and everybody's happy.
Okay, so any other? You had some players come in, obviously from Melbourne. You had Ernie Tapai join for a short period. Didn't stay quite that long in your side, but the vast majority of the boys were South Australian.
Most of the boys were South Australian. I'll go and watch the state league games and even sometimes training, but then avoid that because people then complain. When you're at the game, you're a spectator. And then usually people say, you want to pinch any of our boys. Of course you're looking. If it's a talent there, why not?
Yeah.
If the talent deserves, and the club who's selling him, they deserve to make a bit of money selling him. It won't be big money, but at least help that club to do more things.
So, Zoran, if there's a 15, 16, 17-year-old boy or girl looking to aspire to be to play football at the highest possible level, what advice can you give them? Because you've seen many young people transition from, let's say, outside of the first 11 into first 11 at the top level. What advice do you have for them?
I don't know if I got the brain or not for that, but I look on the movement, and if they're running like giraffes with the long steps, you try to change them and make them work those exercises. They're going to make you fast move in the short term. Because somebody wants to dribble you, He's not going to pass ball 30 meters because somebody else is going to get it or get out. You have to make sure that you commit them to make a move and that you're going to be very quick there in next 2 meters that you get that ball. And that was my thing for the old defenders. Alex Tobin had very long legs, but if you don't teach him how to react, everybody's going to beat him. But after that, I don't think many people beat him after that because, but he had to do those exercises. You have to make sure that you show them those exercises, just you and him in training, and then he realizes that helps him. And to react, what the dummy is. If somebody make a dummy towards the left, he can only spring fast into the right. He can't then stop and go to the left faster. It's going to be no way. And you have to tell them something from experience.
Yeah.
And a lot of them even learn more than what you tell them because they're intelligent and they see what suits them. And I have very fast Paul Schiller. He said, I know what you show me. I don't think I can, or I'll kick him straight, or make a dummy towards him and he's 2 meters away from him. He passed the ball up there quicker than him. Every player had his own brain, how to be. I never had to Paul Schiller try to dummy him. Just go and make sure that you don't go behind him for a meter or two and then you can't catch him. You commit him, when he passes the ball, then your speed can make decision. Who's the ball, his or yours? And I had various people. Tony Widmer was a different person. If he commits himself, he's never going to catch the fella again. He's never going to have that speed. He's fast in 30 and 40 meters. In 5 meters, he's not very fast. And then he had to, you do different exercises with him than with Paul Schiller. With Paul Schiller, he can commit himself. If the fella beats him, he's going to catch him in the next 2 meters. He's not going to get anywhere with the ball. I believe, as you tell players to have a tactics, coach has to have some tactics as well for his own players, where not to commit, where to commit. Nothing wrong with that. If they see that what you show them is good, they repeat it. If they sometimes get beaten because on your excuse that you told them how to, they come and tell you see, but this fellow was faster than me. Even I didn't commit. I said, yes, but you got to then make sure that you are ready for the speed back, not just to go up to him. He's not going to give a ball to you. He's going to pass you. That's what it was. If they then become better players, oh, thank you very much for what you did to me. I can do those things now. I said, you should have done them even 2 years ago, not just now. That's how it is.
Fantastic words of wisdom. Thank you very much, Zoran Matic, for your contribution to Australian football. You've spent a life of helping others grow and improve, and your commitments have been well appreciated by all of us in the footballing community.
Well, you try to do your best. Even some of your best are not good enough. And you have to realize and don't do that what you show them. There are probably 2 or 3 things I show and that player is not suitable for that. Then I even go and tell, don't do that anymore, what I show you. I was wrong, not you. I don't tell them that they can't do that anymore. They got that dedication in them, I want to do it. You tell Paul Schiller, don't commit. If he commits, he gets beaten. In the next 5 meters, he'll catch that fella because he had the speed. I can't tell that to Alex Tobin. If he commits and he gets beaten, never going to get that fella again. Because he's tall, long legs, and to get back in 5 meters to win that ball again is not going to happen. But you have to tell him what is suitable for his body. But Paul Schiller, commit, buddy. You get beaten in next 2 meters, you're going to get that fella. He's got that electronic speed, he's going to get it. And coach learns from his players as much as he can show them, but you learn
Yes.
whether it's suitable for that person or not. And if you're
Yes.
not learning that, then it's your fault, buddy. Doesn't matter if you're a coach. There were a lot of times they show some players something to do and cost us. I said, don't do that anymore. Apologize that I show you that. That's not for you. Don't do that tackle because it's going to only cause trouble for us, not any good. But
That's fantastic words of wisdom, Zoran. That as coaches we learn from our players as much as we teach them, and thank you very much for your time and your contribution today, and of course your contribution to Australian football. Thank you.
Well, maybe I made some good contribution. Maybe I made some bad, but God knows. You're going to live with what you did.
Yes.
If it's good or bad, you have to accept it's yours, buddy. Do you like it or not? That's it.
Well, thank you very much.
No worries. You have a good diet, healthy diet. That's the most important.
Okay, thank you.
Bye.
Hey guys, we've come to the end of this episode. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you taking the time to listen to our wonderful guest. If you like this type of content and would like to see more, how about you hit the like and subscribe button? And have a fantastic day.